Hello everyone. Today we're taking a look at the demo for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies on the 3DS. This game has not come out yet, at least in America and in Europe. It did come out in Japan back in July. Hasn't come out in other areas yet, but the demo has just been released by Capcom. So we should probably take a look at it, see what Phoenix Wright is like, now that he's back, and on the 3DS.
These are dark times, where the law has been reduced to rubble, and it's up to us to restore it to its former glory. Yeah, I know what you mean. It looks like your target finally decided to make a move. Don't you worry. I've got a trusty new partner on board.
You bet! Let's do this!
She's been with us for half a year, though I can hardly believe it. Anyway, her power will be our greatest weapon.
Are you all right, miss?
Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end.
And so we have the intro to the game and the first case. The familiar courtroom has been destroyed, blown up by a bomb. Actually, that bomb. That's the bomb right there. And as you might expect from a Phoenix Wright game, in the first trial, we're learning who the criminal is right away. As is usually the case, the first trial is the tutorial. Not meant to be much of a mystery, but rather we just have to relearn how to play Phoenix Wright, just in case it's been a while, or maybe you've never played it before. This demo only has part of the tutorial chapter, not the whole thing. So we won't get to complete the case, but we will see part of it. This lobby is quite familiar, though. Though it does look a little bit different. The graphics in the game are all polygonal, including the portraits, so that's our assistant. who Phoenix, I believe, mentioned having some kind of special power in the intro. It's been a while since Phoenix has been on a case. This one takes place, I think it was a year after Apollo Justice. And being that the graphics are polygonal, the animations are now quite smooth, as opposed to the old games in which everyone just had like 2 or 3 frames of animation. Though from what I read, the developers did try to give the animations a kind of snap to them, to try to make it more like those old 2D animations. Though of course there is certainly still a difference between the two. Obviously, the 2D animations were that way because of technical limitations, but they did have a lot of charm to them. I think it's up to you whether or not you like the new look more or less. I'm not really sure yet. Anyway, this is Ms. Woods. We're defending her while she's Athena's friend. We saw that bomber before say that he was going to pin everything on the girl, so it seems that we've met the girl. Apollo Justice, all bandaged up, he's not looking too good. The intro was voice acted, but of course, as you're seeing here, the actual game is not. I mean, there is a lot of dialogue. That would be a whole lot of voice acting if they actually did that. I'm not sure if it would be beneficial to actually voice act it, considering a lot of the humor comes from the delivery and cadence of text, which doesn't always transfer well into actual voice acting. Athena is very confident in Phoenix Wright, which is a bit different from previous games. In the older games, people didn't really have that much confidence in Phoenix. But I'm sure he has a much better reputation now than he used to, after all the cases he's been through. Some elements have become a lot fancier, a lot more elaborate animations, but it's all very basically the same. The tutorial prosecutor, Prosecutor Payne, apparently this is not the Payne from the previous games, apparently this is his younger brother, who also has the job of tutorial prosecutor. Athena making promises that are probably not the wisest thing to do. No need really to put a time limit on the case. Judge thinks it's not a bad idea, though. Oh, that's self-awareness. I'm going to assume that there's a significant amount of difference between this demo and the actual game, which I've read some people say it is the case. That it's not just the case that if you play this demo, this is going to be the beginning exactly of the actual game. That apparently they changed enough of it. I can't confirm that, but that's supposedly the case. I've only been showing the top screen up to now. Just going to show the bottom screen right here. There's the court record. Nothing's been going on the bottom screen so far. We'll be using it during gameplay, but as of now, really haven't had any reason to show it. Right, that's what's usually on there. Just a big brown arrow. So let's go back to the top. Gasp, decisive evidence. We don't actually know anything about the case going in. We know that there's this bomb that went off, destroyed the old courtroom. We really don't know who our client is or why she's being accused of this. And that would be why. That would be why she's accused. Her fingerprints are all over a piece of the stuffed animal that the bomb was hidden in. Phoenix can't believe it. This might have been useful for him to know. You know, this is kind of a thing with Phoenix Wright games. For some reason, the defense doesn't really get to know all the evidence the prosecution has. But that's very fancy. Something like that really isn't supposed to be kept secret until the trial. Judge accepts the tale as evidence, because of course, why wouldn't he? Does seem like very conclusive evidence. Oh, we recognize him. I think we saw him a few minutes ago. Of course, one of the main forms of gameplay in Phoenix Wright. Tetonate. Unusual name. One of the main forms of gameplay in Phoenix Wright is the cross-examination of witnesses and presentation of evidence. So this is our first witness that we're going to be interrogating. Well, not interrogating, cross-examining. We're a lawyer, not a police officer. Yes, we saw him in the intro. He was yelling in the courtroom as we saw the timer ticking down. Yeah, I mean, technically, Tetonate did save everyone by warning them about the bomb. Otherwise, it would have gone off, everyone would just still been in the courtroom. Alright, so let's see what happens when we try to poke holes in Tetonate's testimony. We can ask Athena to remind us how to do all this. Let's, just for the sake of time, let's say no thanks. I think Phoenix has done this enough times that he can remember how he... Did I click yes? I think yes, okay. Slipped my finger. Okay, we're asking Athena how to do the cross-examination. Right, so we have to listen to what the testimony is. We can compare it against court evidence to see if there can be a contradiction. All the evidence that has been put into the record. So that would include the stuffed animal, the tail, and the analysis of the explosion. I think that was police analysis that went in there, in that folder. We can also request the witness for more information to clarify a statement that they make. Okay, Phoenix is very confident now. Now that he remembers how to do this, he's gonna do it. Alright, there's really no reason not to press everything he says. There's no penalty for doing that. It doesn't seem like there's anything we can catch him on in that statement. Alright, so that's a dead end. We can't try to prove that the bomb was not disarmed. Let's ask him for more information about that, why not?
Hold it!
There really wasn't anything there to go on. Yeah, we saw that in the intro, but let's ask him for more details about that.
Hold it!
Alright, so even though the bomb had been defused, he still wanted to accompany it to the trial to make sure that nothing happened. Still does not seem like anything we can catch him on. Alright, he saw the bomb's timer was counting down. That seems like something we maybe want to know more about.
Hold it!
Well, we can't confirm or deny, I guess, that his goggles give him very good vision, enough to see the timer. But Phoenix thinks otherwise. And Phoenix has caught a possible contradiction. The bomb was inside the animal when it went off, wasn't it? And unless his goggles can let him see through objects, it doesn't seem like he would be able to see that. That's, yeah, basically the idea. That's the whole gameplay, Athena. That's how this works. Okay, now that we've gotten through all that, he's going to repeat his testimony. Let's go through this till we get... Okay, that's the bit that seemed out of place, wasn't it? He saw that the bomb's timer was counting down. So, we can present some evidence here. Right, the stuffed animal bomb. Completely ensconced in the stuffed animal, so how did he see it? Let's find out if he has an excuse.
Objection!
Ted Tennate has no answer to this. He did not think about that. Seems so obvious on hindsight. Also, I really do like that they have all the old animations. The slamming of the desk is my favorite one. The judge, yes, has a much higher opinion of Phoenix, it seems, than he did in the older games. When Phoenix was just a rookie and made so many mistakes. And like it is with Phoenix Wright games, when you think that you've caught someone in a contradiction, they generally will be able to find some way to recover, until you just keep hammering at them until everything falls apart. Of course, we're just at the beginning of this trial, even if it is the tutorial. Well, I guess Ted Tennate's testimony was airtight. No holes in it at all. Oh yes, the heightened senses, her special powers, were mentioned earlier on. Aww. not much testimony there. I mean, really, there wasn't much to say, I guess. She was in the courtroom, bomb went off, and stuff fell on her. It wasn't really too much detail, but I guess what detail could there have been? So it's time for superpowers. In previous Phoenix Wright games, we would sometimes use magic powers to help us with our cross-examination. However, Athena's powers it's all based in science. No magic here. All completely scientific. So this is a new mechanic for Dual Destinies. We have to look at the emotions of the witness. This seems like it would be quite a big advantage for Phoenix. So 4 different emotions that a witness could be feeling at that time, or combinations possibly. Not exactly complicated. So regardless of what the witness is saying, we can get a sense of what their emotions are. We can be very empathic. And hear the true testimony. Alright, so this looks very different from the normal testimony screen. We're seeing the same testimony. And we see her emotion to the bomb going off. That of surprise, which seems very reasonable. And she apparently is also kind of happy at all this rubble falling on her. Yeah, unexpected emotion, I would think. Unless she's suicidal. She seemed quite glad about that stuff falling on her. So, basically we're just looking at which emotion do we think she should not be feeling at this time, which seems kind of strange, and then identifying it. So, if we look at the second screen, we hit pinpoint, and then we can hit the happy icon. It's already glowing for us.
Got it!
This kind of results in somewhat odd questions. So by identifying and calling out this strange emotion, we were able to get her to remember something, a detail that she left out before. We now know that Apollo Justice was there in the courtroom. And that's how he got injured. So far, though, that's not really a fact that can help us. Yep, we saw this before. Going through the testimony again, now including the fact that Apollo Justice was there. Now we have 3 emotions all going at the same time. Surprise, gladness, and for some reason now sadness, which was not there before. Why don't we call that out? Inquire about this sad emotion.
Got it!
Probably the courtroom blowing up. Kind of sad that the whole situation happened to begin with, I would imagine. Though it does, I don't know, this is a kind of an interesting mechanic, but it does seem like it kind of leads to weird questions. You might wonder why the judge is not inquiring as to where Phoenix is going with this. But we've coaxed another fact out. She's sad about her other stuffed animal, Bumrap Riney. Or maybe Bumrap Riney was her only stuffed animal, and the other one maybe did not belong to her at all? She said they were brothers, but that might not mean that she owned them both. Maybe it means that they're part of the same set. And now that we've discovered that, we've resolved all inconsistencies with her emotions and testimony. So that seems to be the new big mechanic in this game. Very simple in the tutorial. I don't know how much more complex it's going to get in the real game. Oh, tell us more. And yes, if you're wondering, if you're looking at that in 3D on the 3DS, yes, his hand is coming out of the screen. If you were wondering, and you probably should have been wondering. Which piece of evidence? Well, we saw the tail on the poster. The very tail that the prosecution has said was found at the scene and has the defendant's fingerprints all over it. Now we have a reason. Now we have a reason.
Take that!
That does seem kind of early to make that claim. And really, it's the judge that is the one who's supposed to do it. Payne can't believe it. He never even considered such a thing. Why did Phoenix claim her to be innocent right away? It has a long road in front of us. Are we going to get to that long road? Well, no, we're not, because... well, the demo's actually over. Yeah, we can't get her that not guilty verdict yet, unfortunately. We have to wait until later on this month.
Silence! Objection!
And that's the demo for Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies for the 3DS. Coming out October 24th. I'm happy to see this series continue. I always like Phoenix Wright, so I'm happy to see this go on. Unfortunately, the demo does not let us look at any investigation scenes outside of court, so there's nothing on that. It's just the first part of the tutorial trial. So very short demo, but you get enough to get the gist of what's going on, and if you played a Phoenix Wright game before, it's enough to know whether or not you actually would want to get this one or not. Well, this seems pretty good. It's a new Phoenix Wright game on the 3DS coming out later this month.